Hello and welcome to the Tim Booker channel. Wishing everyone a pleasant listening experience. Today, the book I'll be interpreting for you is Winning Minds. For an exceptional leader, the ability to speak effectively is crucial. A good leader can unite the masses and ignite passion and determination through compelling speeches. What are the secrets behind their speeches? How can one, like them, win hearts through their speeches? These are the topics explored in this book. The author of this book, Simon Lancaster, is a renowned speechwriter from the United Kingdom. He has crafted speeches for numerous political and business leaders, including former UK cabinet members, CEOs of Fortune 500 companies like Unilever and HSBC. Simon is also a visiting professor at the University of Cambridge and the Cass Business School in London. He provides professional commentary for BBC Radio and Sky News. Drawing from years of speechwriting experience, Simon believes that to win hearts, leaders need to communicate through three dimensions: trust, emotion, and logic. These dimensions correspond to different areas of the brain, as delineated by modern neuroscience: the instinctive brain, emotional brain, and logical brain. The instinctive brain, the oldest part of the brain, aims to ensure survival. The emotional brain secretes chemicals that influence emotions, leading us to experience intimacy, trust, anxiety, or fear. The logical brain is responsible for assessing the authenticity of information. When a leader gains the support of these three brain areas during communication, they can exhibit formidable influence, shaping people's decisions. In this book, Simon provides a series of specific methods for leaders to make the instinctive brain feel secure, evoke positive emotions in the emotional brain, and convince the logical brain of credibility in their speeches. Ultimately, this wins people over. The book has received numerous accolades since its publication. Richard Solomon, CEO of Journey Hotels, views this book as an exceptional insight into leadership language. Alan Johnson, former UK Home Secretary, praises Simon as a knowledgeable and exceptional speechwriter and an outstanding author. Now, I will delve into the main content of the book, starting with the instinctive brain, emotional brain, and logical brain, to interpret it for you. Let's start with the first section on how to win over the instinctive brain. The instinctive brain's goal is to ensure survival, prioritizing avoiding danger and gaining rewards. Hence, leaders must make people believe they can provide safety and rewards. Here, three key methods are highlighted. The first method involves establishing ambitious goals. People gravitate towards leaders with clear objectives outlined in speeches that promise safety, protection, progress, and change. These objectives meet the instinctive brain's needs for safety and rewards, not just in terms of benefits but also imbuing life with meaning. History's most compelling leaders often possessed far-reaching objectives. For instance, Nelson Mandela aimed to dismantle apartheid and build an egalitarian, free nation, while Steve Jobs aimed to intertwine technology with humanity to enhance life. Ambitious goals effectively inspire and unite people. Consider the story of President John F. Kennedy visiting NASA during the 1960s. When he asked a person in a white coat what he was doing for the moon landing program, the individual replied, "I'm helping to put a man on the moon." Even a security guard felt a sense of purpose within the grand goal, showcasing how such ambitions provide significance, linking ordinary work to a sublime mission, motivating everyone in an organization. The author suggests that leaders find a mission related to long-term strategic goals, packaging these goals within a mission to make people believe that their actions can make the world better. For example, Ford's strategic goal to lead the automotive market was coupled with a mission to make cars accessible to everyone. Similarly, GlaxoSmithKline, a renowned pharmaceutical company, inspired its employees with a sense of mission, believing their work aimed to save lives, particularly evident during the Ebola outbreak in Africa in 2014. The second method to win over the instinctive brain involves shaping the leader's image. People follow leaders not just for clear goals but also because they believe in their ability to achieve them. In public speaking, appearing timid or insincere makes people feel insecure about the leader's capability. Hence, crafting an appropriate leadership image is crucial, comprising three elements: strength, sincerity, and charisma. Starting with strength, it's not about physical prowess but displaying unwavering confidence and a resolute will. For instance, Margaret Thatcher, though a woman, portrayed a decisiveness and strength that surpassed many male politicians, earning her the nickname Iron Lady by the Soviets. During speeches, a simple yet effective method to exude strength is by modulating the voice. Many politicians lower their tone to convey maturity and strength, similar to how Thatcher often employed this technique. Additionally, deliberate pauses in speeches, slower speech rates than normal conversation, between points allow the audience time to ponder, aligning their thoughts with the leaders, ultimately reinforcing the perception of strength. The second element, sincerity, is crucial. Our instinctive brains are adept at detecting authenticity. Neuroscientists have identified brain regions specialized in recognizing facial expressions between the mouth and eyebrows. When people lie, subtle facial cues or eye movements signal insincerity, making the audience distrustful. Hence, honesty is considered the best advice for leaders, although achieving 100% honesty might be challenging or not always the best strategy. In such cases, leaders must wholeheartedly believe in what they say to persuade their audience. The third key point in shaping a leadership image is sensuality. Ensuring the survival and propagation of offspring is of utmost importance for any species. Sensual leaders naturally attract the instinctive brain. People perceive them as more reliable and secure. The author suggests that despite being busy, leaders should cultivate a habit of exercising to maintain a good physique. Additionally, paying attention to appearance, ensuring cleanliness and tidiness, adds to the leader's image. The third method to win over the instinctive brain involves the correct use of metaphors. Metaphors compare one thing to another. We often hear expressions like, crossroads of life, metaphorically likening life to a journey. Metaphors influence perceptions of leaders. However, two metaphors are discouraged as they might lead the instinctive brain to believe the leader cannot provide safety and rewards. The first discouraged metaphor is the war metaphor. References to weapons, armies, or battles can evoke aggression, triggering feelings of insecurity. In the 2015 UK elections, Labour Party leader Ed Miliband's statement about fully arming the National Health Service raised concerns, politicizing healthcare and creating apprehension among the populace. The second discouraged metaphor is the automobile metaphor. Many leaders use cars to symbolize organizations. While advocating reforms, they might mention stepping on the gas for acceleration or malfunctions during mishaps. However, in this metaphor, every employee is likened to a part in the organization, seemingly replaceable, which instills insecurity and a fear of being discarded without receiving promised rewards. So, what metaphors should leaders use? Two primary ones are discussed here. The first is the journey metaphor, often used by leaders to depict the process of achieving goals as a journey. Obama, during his 2008 victory speech, referred to the long and challenging road ahead, promising progress for the nation. This metaphor effectively promises rewards and suggests a clear direction, motivating people to follow and actively pursue those rewards. The second recommended metaphor is the weather metaphor. Difficulties are likened to storms, while a bright future is compared to a sunny dawn. This metaphor satisfies the instinctive brain's need for safety and rewards. For our ancestors, storms signified cold and hunger, while sunlight represented warmth and food. Encouraging people to weather the storm together, promising a brighter future, naturally arouses the desire for safety and rewards, compelling individuals to move forward under the leader's guidance. Alright, that's it for now. We've covered the three methods to win over the instinctive brain: setting ambitious goals, shaping a leadership image, and using metaphors correctly. Moving on to the second part, let's talk about how to win over the emotional brain. Every individual possesses unique emotional needs. Some yearn for love and recognition, while others seek hope for the future. When leaders cater to these emotional needs, people resonate with them, fostering intimacy and support towards the leader. The author presents a series of methods to win over the emotional brain. Three particularly actionable methods are highlighted. The first method involves storytelling. Stories have been a crucial means of communication since ancient times, from myths and legends to novels and films. They help us understand ourselves, others, and the functioning of the world. Storytellers inherently hold authority. As children, we listen to stories from parents, teachers, and elders. As adults, we hear stories from political leaders and business figures. Stories significantly impact the brain. Neuroscientists observing brain reactions to stories discovered that the brain actively engages in stories. For instance, if the protagonist in a story grips something, the audience's motor cortex becomes excited, as if they were also grabbing something. Similarly, if a story describes a spicy taste, the brain's olfactory region reacts as if it were sensing that flavor. Neurologist Yuri Hassan from Princeton University found that stories create a close connection between the audience and the storyteller. As the story progresses, the audience's brain activity synchronizes with the storyteller's, allowing them to experience the storyteller's emotions, fostering emotional resonance. Many exceptional leaders prefer storytelling during speeches, especially personal stories. Through personal stories, leaders narrow the gap between themselves and the audience, eliciting emotional identification with the audience. What kind of stories can win the audience's favor? The author believes good stories should encompass three elements. Firstly, they should have a protagonist that resonates with the audience. The storyteller should vividly depict the protagonist's actions and thoughts, allowing the audience to consider and imagine themselves in the protagonist's shoes. Secondly, there should be a stressful dilemma, creating tension and maintaining audience attention, urging them to listen until the story's end. Lastly, a meaningful resolution provides emotional satisfaction, inspiring and leaving a lasting impression on the audience. The author considers Steve Jobs' commencement address at Stanford University as one of the best personal stories heard. In this famous speech, Jobs shared his views on work and life, narrating vivid stories, including his experiences of being adopted, getting fired from Apple, and his journey while battling cancer. These stories perfectly encompassed the aforementioned three elements, and through their power, Jobs' speech resonated profoundly, engaging his audience emotionally. How can leaders find their personal stories? The author offers specific advice. Firstly, prepare a sheet of paper and draw a two-dimensional coordinate system, horizontal axis for time and vertical axis for the peaks and valleys of your life. Plot your life's curve on the paper, marking important events at high and low points. These peaks might include milestones like university admission or marriage, while the valleys might represent challenges like parental divorce or career setbacks. Then, create transition lines noting your top 10 life philosophies, contemplating what message you'd want to impart to future generations upon departing from this world, such as taking responsibility or perseverance. Lastly, reflect on the relationship between significant life events and your life philosophy, how childhood experiences might have led to realizing a particular life philosophy or how a crucial decision aligns with your life philosophy in practice. By combining life philosophy and significant events, you can communicate your values and motivations, revealing how you became the person you are today. With heartfelt storytelling, your personal story can deeply resonate with others. The second method to win over the emotional brain involves using appropriate words. Words are not isolated entities. When we hear a word, various meanings and associations linked to it are evoked, consequently altering our emotions and behaviors. Harvard University conducted an interesting experiment involving elderly participants playing computer games. While playing, the screen would flash words related to aging. Half of the participants saw screens with positive words like sharp, wise, and accomplished, while the other half saw screens with negative words like aged, dependent, and afflicted. The results showed that after the game, the elderly who received positive words walked 10% faster upon leaving, demonstrating the impact of word associations on emotions. Hence, leaders are very cautious with their choice of words, selecting those that evoke emotional resonance and contribute to achieving their goals. How can one find these words? Look into speeches, articles, movies, or songs that you enjoy to see which words resonate most with people. Based on personal experience, the author recommends several commonly used words. First, personal pronouns like we, you, and you all help bridge the gap between the speaker and the audience, creating intimacy and avoiding a detached feeling. For instance, during his U.S. presidential campaign, Obama's slogan was, "Yes, we can," emphasizing collective action. Even Apple's series of tech products, from iPod to iPhone and iPad, start with the letter representing me. The next recommended word is love. Love is a significant theme in life, and everyone desires it. When people hear about love, they pay attention and remain engaged. Therefore, many brands use love in their slogans, such as McDonald's, "I'm loving it," and Olay's advertisement campaign, "Love the skin you're in." Additionally, words like dream, believe, and greatness are highly recommended by the author. They all evoke positive emotions in the recipient. The third method to win over the emotional brain is repetition. Repetition possesses a powerful force capable of clearing people's minds and infecting the audience's emotions. Winston Churchill, the former Prime Minister of the UK, adeptly employed repetition in his classic speech after the Dunkirk evacuation. To bolster public confidence in fighting Nazi Germany, he repeated, "We shall not surrender, we shall not falter. We shall fight on the seas and oceans, in the air, on the beaches, landing grounds, fields, streets." Condensing these words or removing repetition would significantly weaken their impact and emotional contagion. Apart from these grand-scale repetitions like Churchill's, slogan repetition is also a common form. Obama frequently repeated the slogan, "Yes, we can," in many speeches and interviews to reinforce his political agenda's impression. Repetition can also be combined with appropriate words mentioned earlier, such as personal pronouns, love, and dream. Leaders can use repetition multiple times during a speech to reinforce the emotive power of these words. So far, we've discussed 3 methods to win over the emotional brain: storytelling, using appropriate words, and repetition. In the following third section, let's discuss how to win over the logical brain. The logical brain is responsible for discerning the authenticity of various viewpoints. However, it processes a vast amount of information daily. If it were to seriously analyze every viewpoint, efficiency would be compromised. Thus, often the logical brain relies on experience rather than rigorous logic to judge the credibility of viewpoints. Neuroscientists discovered through brain scans that when we listen to someone speak, our brains process the content and the form of the speech separately. One part analyzes the content's meaning, while the other assesses the expression structure. If a viewpoint seems logically organized and flows smoothly, we typically deem it trustworthy. Therefore, for a leader to make their words persuasive, they must not only focus on the accuracy of the content but also on the form of expression. The methods discussed in this book primarily target the form of expression. We'll emphasize 3 of them. The first method is balance. Balancing thoughts permeates various aspects of life. Just as we seek balanced nutrition in meals and a balance between work and rest in life, pursuing balance is a natural human need. Therefore, when presenting viewpoints, leaders must pay attention to balance. A common technique is to present opposing viewpoints while arguing a point. For instance, concerning the development of nuclear energy, if a leader holds an opposing view and merely lists its negative impacts like high costs and the risk of leakage, it might seem biased to some. A more persuasive approach would be for the leader to present the supporters' views on nuclear energy and refute them. This presentation of both sides for discussion increases credibility. However, this credibility is derived from the argumentative form rather than the content itself. Similarly, the balance technique can be used to support nuclear energy. A leader can first outline the benefits of nuclear energy, such as low pollution and high efficiency, then counter opposing views. By explaining that nuclear technology is mature now, the probability of leaks is minimal, and although it requires substantial investment, it yields long-term benefits for the future, it sounds equally persuasive. Apart from balancing positive and negative viewpoints, balance in drama is also commonly used. Balanced drama typically consists of 2 parts, an earlier section and a later one, presenting progression, contrast, or a turning point to create a sense of equilibrium. For example, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. These familiar maxims represent balanced drama, naturally possessing persuasive power. Many leaders use a series of balanced dramas to open speeches. For instance, Kennedy's inaugural speech began with, "We observe today not a victory of party but a celebration of freedom symbolizing an end as well as a beginning, signifying renewal as well as change." Such an opening makes the audience feel that the leader is at the center of the world, possessing broad vision and boundless capabilities, setting a strong foundation for the rest of the speech. The second method to win over the logical brain is to use the rule of 3. Successively multiplying by 1, 2, 3, the rule of 3 divides argumentative viewpoints into 3 parts, perspectives, or elements, creating a convincing impression. It might sound deceptively simple, but the rule of 3 is indeed effective. In 2014, Georgetown University in the University of California conducted a study presenting participants with 3 and 4 persuasive reasons in different contexts. The results revealed that in each scenario, participants found the persuasive power of 3 reasons to be superior. Hence, when marketing products, manufacturers should say, faster, better, cheaper, rather than adding, more aesthetic. A policy or initiative should advocate social, economic, and environmental sustainability rather than adding, political. As to why the rule of 3 is effective, there's no definitive scientific explanation yet. The author believes that subconsciously, people generally consider 2 as too few, lacking persuasiveness and impact, while 4 is excessive, feeling unbalanced and exaggerated. 3 is seen as the perfect number, providing a sense of thoroughness and ease of memorization. The application of the rule of 3 is widespread. Sales will delineate product advantages from 3 aspects, writers will divide writing content into 3 parts, just like this book. When leaders express viewpoints, they also condense them into 3 elements. General MacArthur summarized the mission of the U.S. Marine Corps as duty, honor, country, in a speech. After the 2010 UK elections, various parties proposed different views for government formation. The Conservative Party claimed to build a good, strong, stable government, while the Labour Party aimed for a strong, stable, principled government. Many politicians also use the rule of 3 to strengthen persuasiveness when criticizing others. Former UK Prime Minister David Cameron criticized the EU for being too large, too bossy, and too intrusive. Current Prime Minister Boris Johnson blamed his party for being divisive, runaway, and timid. These examples illustrate how deeply ingrained the rule of 3 is. The third method to win over the logical brain is to start from common consensus. The author believes that most people don't have fixed opinions on many things. As long as leaders demonstrate seemingly reasonable logical arguments, they can guide people to support or oppose something. The key here is that people inherently dislike contradictions and prefer harmony and unity. Leaders should argue starting from universally agreed upon or opposed consensus, progressively guiding towards specific viewpoints. For instance, if a leader supports banks giving hefty bonuses to executives, they could ask the public questions like, do you think the government has the right to tell you how to use your money? Do you think the government should disclose everyone's earnings? Do you think the government should arbitrarily limit a particular industry's bonuses? Most people would answer no to these questions, naturally concluding that the government should not limit bank executives' bonuses. Similarly, this method can be used in opposition. Leaders could ask questions like, do you think the government should use billions to subsidize banks when nurses and doctors are being cut in pay? Should greedy bankers, responsible for the financial crisis, receive bonuses? Do you think the government should support the privileged class like bankers? Again, most people would answer no, naturally concluding that bank executives should not receive bonuses. The universal consensus used to guide viewpoints can be completely unrelated to the viewpoints themselves. Former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair, in his memoirs, described how he handled the Northern Ireland peace talks, one of Britain's most challenging events. Blair believed that his mission was to get people to nod in agreement. Therefore, before every daily discussion, he would bring up unrelated topics that could elicit agreement, such as, today, we have some tricky things to handle, or, the weather is terrible today. These topics themselves were insignificant. The crucial aspect was eliciting agreement, creating a cooperative atmosphere, leading to more agreement later. This paved the way for the peace talks. Alright, up to this point, we've covered the 3 methods to win over the logical brain: balance, using the rule of 3, and starting from common consensus. Speaking of which, this book has covered almost everything. Let's briefly summarize. The author believes that excellent leaders are like a bright lightning bolt, bringing light to people, allowing them to see far and feel energized and enthusiastic. To become such a leader, you need to promise security and returns to win the instinctual brain, satisfy emotional needs to win the emotional brain, and make your viewpoints credible to win the logical brain. Once you achieve these, people will naturally support and follow you to achieve great goals. Alright, this book has brought you to this point. Thank you all for your support and attention. Please subscribe to the Tim Booker channel, like, and share this valuable knowledge with friends around you. Let's combine wisdom and practice to achieve our financial goals and create a better future. Thank you, goodbye.